Hi, this is Bob Moore with Alpha Software, and today we're going to take a look at a new integration that we've just completed with Alpha Anywhere. This is an integration with OneSignal. OneSignal is a messaging platform that allows you to do web push notifications. So this is what we've just recently added into the product, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to configure OneSignal to work with Alpha and how to configure Alpha to work with OneSignal. And then we'll take a look at a couple of examples. You can use push notifications within just a simple web app. You can use them in an application where you're using the authentications for login, and in that case we can record who's logged in and store that in the OneSignal database. Also this works with Alpha's integration of progressive web apps. So all some cool new stuff, and let's take a look at how we set that up. So what we're going to do here is take a look at, I'm signed into OneSignal. You can set up a free account there. It's not a problem at all. I'm going to go ahead and create let's create a new app. So in our app, we'll say our OneSignal app name will be, let's say, Alpha Test App 2. And we're going to do a web integration here. So this is for web push notifications. This will work on all major browsers. It will also work on Android and iOS devices. On iOS, you have to make sure that the user adds the application to the home screen, but other than that, that's the only requirement there. So let's just call this Alpha Test 2. Site URL. Here, for testing purposes, use localhost. So you can use the development server here for testing, which is great. Makes life easy. A couple of things you have to be aware of as you're working with it, but I'll go through all of that. And then you have to make sure that you enable local testing here. So treat HTTP localhost as HTTPS for testing. Okay. We're going to go ahead and set a default icon as well. So let's go choose our file, and it should be 256 by 256 pixels. So that should work well. And yeah, then we'll just go ahead and save that. And from there, the next thing you need to do is you've got to, well, you could say, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to show? So in our case, it's got a default push slide prompt. I'm going to just go ahead and use that. It's going to look something like this. Thanks for subscribing. You can change these messages. You can make these things look any way you want, but that's fine for our testing purposes here today. One of the things that's very important to do is to set the service workers up to conform to the way that we're going to present this application. Now, and the reason we have to do this very specifically is because to support progressive web apps, which also use a service worker, we have to define the scope of the different service workers, because in a progressive web app, you end up with two. So just to be consistent, do this for all of your OneSignal integrations. So here, use OneSignal here. So the path to the service worker file is going to be OneSignal. The name of the file itself is OneSignalSDKWorker.js, and the same with the updater. So they're both exactly the same. And then down here, again, OneSignal. So you want all of your apps that are going to use OneSignal to look like this. Okay, and then we will add in all the required files to make all this magic happen. And we'll say, yeah, a notification should remain on the screen until clicked, and we're going to go ahead and save. Now, once we save that, it's going to show us our web configuration, and the important thing to pick up here is this app ID right here. Okay, you don't need to do any of this. We take care of that for you. So just get all and you don't need to add any of this code either. We do all that for you. So we just need this app ID right here. So let's go ahead and copy that. And now we're going to, so copy that. And from there, yeah, finish. We can finish up. Now, next we'll go into Alpha Anywhere. So let's minimize that, and we'll go into Alpha. And what we're going to do here is I'm just going to create a new project. So our new project is going to be OneSignal test. We'll say OneSignal. Oh, let's get that right. Test 1. And that's fine. And what we're going to do is let's just go ahead and create a new component here. Web component. And let's see what we're going to do. Okay. This is going to be a simple component here. And all we're going to do is I'll put in a panel card. We'll put in a header on that just to identify what it is. This is just an experimental app, really. And then from here, let's go ahead and put in something to indicate what it is. So static text here. We'll just call it OneSignal push test. And go OK with that. And put that up into the header. And then put the header in. We'll line it center line, so that that looks good. Now the other thing that I want to do here, let's minimize that for a second. In my project properties, this is important. This is where you enable the support for OneSignal. So if you come down here, you'll see OneSignal and enable it, and then this is where you enter in your app ID. So let's go ahead and paste our app ID right in there, and then click on OK. Now we're going to go back to our component here. Let's go ahead and save this component, and we'll just call this test 1. And it's going to, now notice when I saved the component that it looked in the project file and said, oh, OneSignal is in use here. So it's going to add the required OneSignal service worker file to this project. So just say OK. And well, just to show you what it's going to look like, I mean, it's real basic. It's just a app that's going to say OneSignal push test, but we've included all of the code to run and to work with OneSignal at this point. That looks good. So let's go ahead and just get rid of that over here. So now you can see the OneSignal folder here. And if you open it up in here, you'll see the JavaScript. That's the OneSignal service worker. So we pulled that down and added that to the project. So you don't have to do anything there. And this component will have all of the code that's required to initialize OneSignal and to install it and get it all up and running. Okay. So in order to test this out, now we're going to run it on our local server. So this is going to be our development server here. And here it's set up. I'm just using, so HTTP, I'm going to use port 81 here. Nothing magical here at all. Let's go ahead and start the server. So we'll get that going. And what we're going to do is let's go open that component up. And we'll say we want to save a page. And yeah, that's fine. And I'll call this index. So it'll be our base page here. Index 85W. Save that. Close that guy out. And so now we see our index A5W page. So we've got our OneSignal directory here. We got our index page here. We got a component here. One thing that's important to do here is you're going to want to publish this OneSignal folder to the web root. So just right click on it and publish it to the local web root. And now everything should be all set in order to work with live test. If you hadn't done that, per the configuration that we set up on the OneSignal dashboard, it's looking for the service worker in the web root. And if we just run live test, then the OneSignal service worker gets installed in the live test folder, which is not where we want it. It can also be there, it doesn't matter, but it's got to be in the web root, and that's what we just did. Now I can run in live test. So let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. So live test, we're going to run with the development server. So I've got the development server selected up in here. Go ahead and run that. And we're publishing those files out. And here's our application now running. And we can see localhost port 81, and there's my application. Now if you come over here and just click on this, you can look at the permissions that have already been granted to localhost 81. So what this means is that notifications have already been enabled here. And that's probably because I was previously testing on something else. Okay. So for our testing purposes, we don't want that to be there. We want to actually have to be able to grant the permissions. All right. So what we go to site settings here and delete the data and reset permissions. And you only need to do this if you've already granted permissions to this site. So now we can go and come back over here and take a look at our permissions, and we can see that's gone away now. And another thing we can do is if we hit Control-Shift-I, that's going to bring up our debugger. And if you come into local storage and localhost, you'll notice that there are no values in here at all. So here we can see that that this is good to go. This is good for testing right now. So let's go ahead and we'll just refresh the page, and you're going to see some things happen. Let's go into console, and we'll see the OneSignal library loaded here. Okay, and then when we come back over to the application tab, and we can see the page views, and now we see this is the prompt from OneSignal. Subscribe to our notifications for the latest news and updates. You can disable at any time. Now, when I say subscribe, you're going to see a little message come in over here. Here, let me move this so you'll be able to see it. So let's go ahead now and subscribe. And now it's asking, this is the browser actually verifying that I want to allow this. So I say, okay, allow. And then over here, thanks for subscribing. That's your first message that just came in. Thanks for subscribing from localhost. And I'll click on that and off it will go. So this application is now set up for push notifications. And the thing that's interesting is this doesn't need to be running in order for those notifications to come in. So here, let's do this. We'll just copy this. And we'll close it. We'll come into our settings here in OneSignal. We're going to go into the push messages, and we're going to send out our first push. So let's do that, and we'll just call our message, our campaign is going to be our Hello World campaign. We're going to send it to all subscribers, and just say, again, hello world, and say hi there. Now, you could also upload images. You can also have a URL that when the user clicks on that, it goes to that URL. So let's say you had some special, we just released a new tutorial, or we just released this new video or whatever, it could go directly there. And let's go ahead and review and send. And send the message. So off it goes. And down here, we should see it. There it is. Hello world, hi there, localhost, and so on. So that's our push notification coming in from OneSignal. Now, if you come down here into subscriptions, we should have one subscription. So that would be yeah, and here it is right here. And this is when it happened. This is the OneSignal ID and the subscription ID. And let's go look at users. It's another thing that now this, we don't know who this user is. It's just some random person using this. But you'll notice that they log the IP address, they log the session, and so on. Now, when we include login, we actually put the user's name in here, and we assign an external ID. The external ID is important because that user, if they use email or they use SMS or in-app, which is used in native mobile applications, that external ID will be the same for all of them. So you can target, like, you can start out with push and then send off email and then send off SMS. So it's really kind of an amazing messaging platform. They call it a unified messaging platform. So anyway, that's a quick overview of the integration. And in the next video, I'll take it a little bit deeper. We'll take a look at login and how that works, and then we'll take a look at how to use this within a progressive web app.